Your biggest security risk may not be missing alerts. It may be the pile nobody has time to investigate when ransomware hits after hours. CIEM, MSSP, and MDR sound similar in a sales deck, but they solve very different problems for a business leader. In the next few minutes, I'll make the difference clear so you can choose based on who actually protects you at 2 in the morning. Here is the real decision. When an alert fires at 2 in the morning, who is actually going to do something about it? Roughly 70% of security alerts go uninvestigated. Usually that is not because the tools failed. It is because the team ran out of time. A lot of companies overspend on a CIEM they never really staff, then wonder why the signal turns into noise. Others pay an MSSP for coverage, but the end result is still an email, a ticket, or a phone call waiting for their team to respond. That is why the acronym matters less than the operating model. Once a threat is inside your network, the only question that counts is who takes action next. Let's strip the jargon out of this. CIEM, MSSP, and MDR sit in the same conversation, but they are not the same kind of solution. A CIEM is software. It collects logs from across your environment, correlates events, and flags activity that looks suspicious. What it does not do by itself is respond. A CIEM can raise its hand, but a person still has to investigate and decide what happens next. An MSSP is a managed security service. It helps run tools and extend monitoring, which is useful when your internal team is stretched thin. But many MSSPs stop at watching and notifying. They broaden visibility, yet the burden of response often still lands back on your side. MDR means managed detection and response. The point is not just to spot a real threat, but to contain it fast. That can mean isolating an endpoint, killing a malicious process, or locking an account before the damage spreads. So in plain English, CIEM is a tool, MSSP is monitoring help, and MDR is the model built to detect and actively stop live threats. When an alert turns real, every buying conversation should collapse down to one question: who acts at 2 in the morning? If the honest answer is your team, then you are deciding how much tooling and monitoring support they need to carry that load. That may point you toward a CIEM or toward an MSSP that expands visibility and helps keep watch. If the answer is someone else has to handle it, then you are in MDR territory, because that model is built around active response. This is why response authority matters more than a feature checklist. A long list of dashboards means very little if no one is empowered to move. Watching is not the same as defending. In a live incident, that difference becomes painfully expensive very quickly. Now let's make this practical. The right model depends less on your industry label and more on who you have available to operate security every day. If you have no security staff or maybe 1 or 2 IT generalists covering everything, MDR is usually the safer fit. If your IT team is lean but not absent, an MSSP can widen coverage, while MDR protects the systems you absolutely cannot afford to lose. If you already have in-house analysts or a real security operations center, a CIEM can be powerful because you have the people to run it well. Even then, plenty of mature organizations still pair CIEM with MDR, so someone is covering response around the clock. And if you are a very small business with no regulated data, you may get more value right now from fundamentals than from a complex monitoring stack. Multi-factor authentication, strong endpoint protection, and offsite backups often move the risk needle faster than buying something your team cannot realistically operate. 3 questions come up almost every time. First, is MDR better than MSSP? Not exactly. They do different jobs, but lean teams usually need MDR first because response is the gap. Second, does MDR replace CIEM? Sometimes it reduces the need for one because many MDR providers bring their own detection stack. But if you need long-term log retention for compliance, or you want highly custom detections built in-house, a dedicated CIEM can still matter. Third, what about very small businesses? In many cases, staying lean is the smart move at first. Start with fundamentals and tighten execution. Then add active monitoring when your customer data gets more sensitive or the business grows past what simple controls can cover. That way you build capability in the order risk actually shows up instead of buying complexity ahead of need. Before you buy, remember this. A CIEM is a tool that protects nothing unless someone is there to run it. An MSSP watches and alerts, but that is only enough if your team can act. MDR is built to stop live threats. So ask one practical question before you sign anything. Who responds at 2 in the morning? If you're in California and want a clearer answer for your business, Request a free security assessment and learn more at your company site.